Let's look at another example with the same decision to be made, but let's assume it's in a different project environment. In this instance, we are still deciding whether or not to hire additional temporary staff, and we've got the same forces for making the decision, and we have the same forces against making the decision. However, in this example, finishing the project on time is slightly less important than it was in the last one, and it gets rated as a 3. Decreasing staff burnout is more important in this project environment because burnout is becoming a larger issue. So this also gets rated as a 3. And evaluating workers for future employment gets rated a 1. On the forces against side, cost is the biggest deciding factor in this project environment, so it gets rated as a 5. Time to orient the staff gets rated as a 1. And the unknown productivity levels of the temporary staff could have a larger effect in this instance, so it gets rated as a 3. So in our forces for column, we come up with a total of 7. And in the forces against, we come up with a total of 9. So you can see that even making the same decision with the same forces for, the same forces against, you can come up with completely different results depending on your project environment. There are some requirements for effective use of force field analysis. First of all, you will need a clear definition of the decision which is being evaluated. Next, you will need some creative thinking and participation from your key team members. You will also need a whiteboard, chalkboard, or large piece of paper for recording the ideas and developing the chart. Lastly, it always helps to have an effective facilitator to keep the process going in the right direction and on focus. Let's review some of the advantages of force field analysis. First of all, it is simple to understand and easy to apply. It allows for input and discussion of team members, and it can be used in groups or individually. It allows for broad scope analysis of the problem or the decision to be made. Force field analysis is inexpensive and quick to implement. It is efficient and effective as long as you have quality inputs. Force field analysis emphasizes both opportunities and risks equally, and it allows identification of similar causes for both the risks and the opportunities presented. There can be some disadvantages to force field analysis as well. There is potential for discussions to become long and unproductive. It is applicable only to a single situation or decision, and its broad scope approach can also be a disadvantage if the discussion gets unwieldy and unfocused. So when should you use force field analysis in risk management? Well, it can be used to identify risks associated with a proposed change or response plan. It can be used to develop appropriate risk response planning, and it's a very effective tool to efficiently demonstrate to upper management how a decision was reached. Let's briefly touch on when force field analysis is helpful in general project management. It can be very helpful for deciding whether or not to pursue a project in the first place, in the initiation phase. It can also be used to assist in decision-making processes within the project. Some examples of this might be a make or buy decision, maybe in evaluating a change request, or adjusting to changing environmental conditions. Clearly, the foremost reason for applying a force field analysis is to make a decision whether to move ahead with a change or remain with the status quo. However, there are some other things your force field analysis results will do for you. The first thing you're going to want to do with your results are post them. This will enhance project risk communication between your team members and stakeholders. It will also serve as a reminder of the forces involved and the reasons the decision was made. Also, you will have this information readily available for continuing your risk analysis process in your project. Your results will also spur further risk identification and problem solving as your team delves deeper into risk discussions. Through this, they will find related risks and root causes of the risks. The last thing you'll want to do with your results is archive them, because of course they will be a fabulous reference for use for you during future projects.